For home theater enthusiasts, keeping up with the latest audio technologies is crucial to achieving an immersive entertainment experience. If you're like me, using an older audio processor like this Integra from 2009 can be a limiting factor if you're trying to get the most out of today's modern TVs and gaming consoles. In this review, we'll explore how integrating this HDMI eARC audio extractor from OREI can bridge the technology gap by eliminating the need for compressed signals and unlocking the full potential of your system. I've heard a lot of good things about this device, and hopefully it'll solve the problem that I have with my outdated processor. So with that said, let's go ahead and see what comes in the box. Alright, so first thing, you get the OREI itself. You also get a power adapter with a locking barrel nut, an instruction manual, some mounting brackets, which I'll probably be using to mount this to the back of my entertainment center. And finally, you get an RS-232 connector, which allows you to connect to a computer. Now, the first thing I noticed about this unit is just how well built it is. The chassis is all metal and it has some heft to it, which should add to its overall durability. It also helps to isolate the unit from outside interference, and I think overall it adds a premium feel to the device. Taking a look at the front panel, you can see it has a pretty well organized layout of LED displays to provide useful information about the status of the unit, which will show you exactly what's hooked up to the ports on the back. First, we have the power LED, and next to that are indicators for the single HDMI input and 2 HDMI outputs. Next, we have the audio signal indicators. These LEDs provide information about the audio format being transmitted. You'll also find indicators for PCM, Dolby, DTS, and DTS HD. Adjacent to the audio signal indicators, we have the HDMI, eARC, and eARC indicators. And finally, we have the button that allows you to select between HDMI or eARC and eARC modes. This gives you the flexibility to choose the appropriate audio channel for your specific setup. Moving around to the back, you get an HDMI input. Next to that, you get 2 HDMI outputs, one for connecting to a TV or monitor, and the other for connecting to an audio device like a soundbar or receiver. To the right of that are optical and coax digital outputs, which can also be used to connect to a soundbar or receiver. You also get 2 RCA outputs that can come in handy for passing the audio to older stereos. Next to that, you get the dip switch settings, which are explained on the bottom with this diagram. And I'll go over this a little more later in the video. Finally, you get the RS-232 port and the power supply input. Now, as I already mentioned, I'm currently using a Toslink cable from my TV to get the signal to my processor, which gives me 5.1 surround sound. But the problem is it's compressed. So it's a compromise in sound quality compared to an HDMI signal, which is uncompressed. But by using the HDMI eARC out from the TV into the eARC input of the OREI, and then out to one of my processor's HDMI inputs, I'll be able to get an uncompressed signal that should sound a lot better. So let's go ahead and set that up and see if it works. To begin with, plug your HDMI into the eARC HDMI port on your TV, which will then be plugged into the eARC port on the OREI. You then have to go from the audio out of the OREI to a non-ARC port on your receiver or processor. So pretty much any port will work as long as it's not ARC on your processor. Next, we'll make sure that the audio input on the front is set to ARC eARC mode by pressing this button. Once that's done, I was able to enjoy uncompressed audio over HDMI, which to me was a noticeable improvement over the Toslink connection. So that's just one scenario the OREI can be used in, but that's just a drop in the bucket compared to what this thing is capable of. So now that we've shown you our use case, let's go ahead and talk about some of the other general specifications for this unit. The OREI is an HDMI 2.0 certified device that supports up to 4K 60 Hz with HDCP 2.2 and 1.4 compliance. It also supports HDR, HLG, and Dolby Vision over any of its 3 ports. It sports a lot of other nice features as well, like 4K to 1080p downscaling, a built-in stereo DAC, automatic down mixing to 5.1 and stereo over Toslink and SPDIF, and a whole bunch of other input and output configuration modes to suit the needs of your setup. It also offers its most useful feature, in my opinion, the ED-ID spoofing, which you can control using the dip switches on the back. The bottom of this unit comes with a guide that shows you what switch settings correspond with what EDID output, and you can use this feature to get certain display modes to be shown as compatible with your TV or media device, or even to connect it to two completely different incompatible HDMI devices that need to make use of the internal scaling of the unit. In our case, we use the switches set to 1011, which tells the unit to copy EDID information from HDMI output 1. And this means the unit will just present the same EDID as whatever your TV reports. So it should be the most compatible with different scenarios. If you need something else, just use a different switch configuration to match your setup. In conclusion, the HDMI eARC audio extractor from OREI is a game changer for anyone looking to breathe some new life into their older home theater gear. Its ease of use was probably my favorite feature. The way I had to set it up was basically plug and play, and I feel like it's doing exactly what I wanted it to do. And considering the $149 sell price on Amazon right now, I feel like it's definitely a worthy investment over replacing your existing receiver or processor. If you're interested in checking out the HDA-939, I'll be sure to leave links to OREI's website as well as Amazon, where you can go ahead and learn more about the specific model and any of the other scalers and video devices that OREI has to offer. And I think I'm just about done here. So if you found this video helpful, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe so you don't miss any of our future content. And as always, have an awesome day.